Good evening. Welcome to the news desk at 20 hours. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to be looking at some of the biggest news stories from the day. But coming up shortly are the headlines. Bullet from murdered IBA boss linked to AK-47. Court hears shocking details. Police capture mastermind behind Chelengi officer's murder and prison break. The Electoral Commission of Zambia registers over 300,000 new voters in Phase 2 ahead of the 2026 general election. Plus, Cameroon President Biya declared election winner. I'll be right back with more of the details. Good evening once again. Thank you for joining us on the news desk. Remember to follow us from our social media platforms on X, that's at Diamond TV Zambia, for Facebook, Diamond Media, as well as Diamond TV Online. And visit our website as well to catch up with us. That's diamondtvzambia.com. To present today's edition of the news desk at 8 p.m., my name is Justin Mulenga. Let's begin with the first news item here. A forensic ballistic expert has testified before the Lusaka High Court that a bullet recovered from the garments of murdered Independent Broadcasting Authority Director General Guntila Muleya matched cartridges from an AK-47 rifle that is an exhibit in the case. Now, Isaac Kalimanshila has told the High Court Judge Vincent Siloka that his analysis revealed matching characteristics, showing the bullet and cartridges were fired from the same firearm. He explained that each firearm leaves unique impressions on cartridges, which were tracked back to the AK-47 rifle under examination. And Mr. Kalimanshila added that 2 empty cartridge cases collected from the crime scene and a bullet recovered from Muleya's body were submitted for forensic testing. In this case, Systems Engineer Samuel Dokowe, Police Officer Mtusani Dokowe, IBA Accountant Francis Chipioka, and Police Officer Caleb Zulu are charged with Muleya's murder allegedly committed on the 23rd of July 2024 in Njolwe, Lusaka.
The Lusaka High Court has heard that the bullet that was found on the body of former Independent Broadcasting Authority IBA boss Guntila Muleya matches that of the AK-47 retrieved from North Mid Police Station, believed to have been used to commit the alleged murder. 4 suspects, among them Mitusani Dokowe 29, a police officer, Caleb Zulu 30, also a police officer of Libala South, Samuel Dokowe 37, an assistant engineer, and Francis Kapioka 42, an accountant of Foxdale, are charged with murder of Muleya. On stand was a forensic ballistic analyst, Isaac Kalimanshila, who testified about his analysis, which involved an AK-47 rifle with a magazine loaded with 2 rounds of ammunition, 2 pistols, 2 empty cartridges, 1 bullet retrieved from the body of the deceased. Additionally, a bullet box with 40 rounds of ammunition, a magazine belonging to the pistol with 17 rounds of ammunition, and 9 cylinders, all submitted for ballistic analysis by the arresting officer, Detective Sergeant Simaimbo. It was his testimony that the analysis established the characteristics and unique prints of the bullets and guns used to commit the offense and their relationship. According to his ballistic report, the discharge source led to the AK-47 rifle. He stated that the landmark and the grooves show unique and similar characteristics, which point to a discharge source. Earlier, a police reserve, William Shawer, 33, of Garden Compound in Lusaka, had testified that he escorted his bosses, Caleb Zulu and Mitusani Dokowe, who are both police officers, on July 22, 2024, for an operation to apprehend Muleya at his office under the guise that he was wanted for theft, which led to a retrieval of the AK-47 rifle from North Mid Police Station with 4 rounds of ammunition. The former IBA boss was later discovered dead on July 23, 2024, in Njolwe, Lusaka. Judge Vincent Siloka has since adjourned the matter to tomorrow, the 28th of October 2025, for continuation of trial. Cecilia Kaya, Mporokoso, Diamond News, Lusaka.
In more news, police in Challenge have arrested the suspected mastermind behind the murder of Sergeant Frank Piri and the dramatic escape of 14 detainees from Challenge Police Station on the 25th of October. The suspect, identified as Alfonso Mwewa, believed to be in his early 20s, was apprehended on the 26th of October around 1 p.m. in Kashikishi village, in Challenge district. Now, preliminary investigations show that Mwewa had earlier been detained for assault occasioning actual bodily harm, but was released on the 24th of October at 16 hours.
As fear continues to grip residents of Nchilenge district following the breakout of 14 detainees, there is a measure of relief after police announced the arrest of the alleged mastermind, bringing the number of recaptured suspects to 4.
He was apprehended on October 26, 2025, around 13 hours in Kashikishi village in Challenge district. Mwewa is alleged to have silently entered the front desk office through the rear door and suddenly hit an officer on the head with an iron bar, rendering him unconscious. He then damaged the locks of the holding cells and aided other suspects in escaping. The attack and subsequent murder of Sergeant Piri are believed to have been motivated by an intent to enable the escape of the detained suspects.
Authorities indicate that they have reinforced a police presence on the ground to restore calm and quicken the pursuit of the fugitives.
In a related development, another suspect, Honest Kazembe, has been recaptured, bringing the total number of recaptured suspects to 4. Police have also recovered one motorcycle that had been reported stolen.
Despite the progress, anxiety still lingers among residents, many of whom have vowed to cooperate with security agencies and provide any information that may assist investigations.
First batwala courts bali abantu passing a judgment baya ku prison pantu uyu mwenso tukwete nafi tutinya na ifwe bene tulenda aba mwenso na tuchinja neminu kila paso tulenu kama 18 hours pa 17:30 mulandu nemyendere tuletina.
The Zambia Police Service maintains that efforts to bring all escapees back into custody will continue until the case is fully resolved. Kalombe Kapambwe, Damo News.
Over in Southern Province, the Livingston High Court has sentenced a 40-year-old man from Choma to 60 years imprisonment with hard labor for sexually abusing his 13-year-old biological daughter between 2021 and 2022. Before High Court Judge Mbile Wina, the accused, Brian Strombo, faced one count of incest contrary to Section 159(1) of the Penal Code. During trial, the court heard that Strombo repeatedly abused his daughter and isolated her from others, and medical examinations revealed she was 17 weeks pregnant but later suffered a miscarriage.
Justice has been held in a matter in which a 40-year-old Choma man was facing a charge of incest. Details are that Brian Sijombe has been sexually abusing his biological daughter, aged 13, between 2021 and 2022. When the matter came before High Court Judge Mbile Wina in October this year, the accused faced one count of incest, contrary to Section 159, subsection 1 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the Laws of Zambia. During trial, the court held that the perpetrator regularly sexually abused his daughter and kept her isolated, preventing her from mingling with the friends. Medical examinations revealed that the victim was 17 weeks and 4 days pregnant, though she later suffered a miscarriage. The court further held that Sijombo threatened his daughter, instructing her to blame someone else for the pregnancy to conceal his crime. In passing sentence, Judge Wina described Sijombo as a danger to society, adding that if he can do this to his biological daughter, no child is safe for him. The case was prosecuted under the Criminal Procedure Code, Chapter 88, and the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the Laws of Zambia. Gabriel Jesus Mova, Damo News, Southern Zambia.
In more news, the Electoral Commission of Zambia has recorded 343,921 registrations in the second phase of the mass voter registration exercise. Speaking during a press briefing, Chief Electoral Officer Brown Kasaro says this brings the cumulative total for phases 1 and 2 to 259,488 new voters, comprising 141,825 females and 117,663 males. The Electoral Commission of Zambia Chairperson Mwangala Zulumis says while stakeholders have called for an extension, it is too early to decide. She assured that the Commission is addressing concerns on sensitization, equipment and accreditation to ensure a smooth process.
As Zambia inches closer to the 2026 general elections, the push to capture every eligible voter's voice is underway, and the Electoral Commission of Zambia says the momentum is steadily building. The Commission has recorded a provisional total of 343,921 registrations in the second phase of the ongoing mass voter registration exercise, and ECZ Chief Electoral Officer Brown Casaro says this marks notable progress towards ensuring that all eligible citizens have an opportunity to participate in next year's polls.
In phase 2 of this exercise, the Commission has recorded a provisional total of 343,921 registrations. The Commission has recorded a total of 259,488 new registrations. I'll repeat that. Cumulatively, that is for both phases 1 and 2, the Commission has recorded a total of 259,488 new registrations across the country.
But as the registration exercise continues, questions have begun to surface over the 30-day timeframe allocated for the process.
Political parties have requested the Commission to extend the period of accreditation to observe the ongoing registration of voters exercise. The Commission has since extended accreditation to 31st of October 2025. Stakeholders can apply to the respective district registration officers and can submit a maximum of 3 observers per constituency.
Meanwhile, stakeholders, including civil society organizations and political parties, have expressed concern over the low turnout witnessed in both phases of the exercise.
CCMG is unable to report observation data from day 1 of phase 1 of the mass voter registration exercise. This represents a step backwards in the transparency of Zambia's electoral process, despite the Electoral Commission of Zambia directive. 48 district electoral officers either did not open their offices or were unable to access accreditation kits, hindering timely processing.
As the registration drive enters its next phase, all eyes remain on the Commission to deliver an inclusive, transparent, and credible electoral process ahead of 2026. Elfie Mwale Shampande, Diamond News.
Cameroon's Constitutional Council has declared that President Paul Biya, leader of the country since 1982, has been re-elected for the 8th time in a vote accompanied by deadly violence. The council announced on Monday that the 92-year-old incumbent had secured 53.66% of the vote in the October 12th election. Opposition candidate Issa Chiroma received 35.19%, it added.
Cameroon's President Paul Biya has been declared the winner of the country's presidential election, securing an 8th consecutive term in office. According to the Constitutional Council, Biya received 53.66% of the vote, a result swiftly rejected by his main rival, opposition leader Issa Chiroma Bakari, who accused the authorities of manipulating the outcome. At 92, Biya is the world's oldest sitting head of state. He first came to power in 1982, following the resignation of his predecessor, Amadou Ahidjo, and has since become Africa's second longest-serving president after Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo of Equatorial Guinea. Biya's tenure has been marked by a consolidation of power, including a staged coup attempt in 1983 to 1984, which eliminated many of his political rivals. The election has sparked unrest in parts of the country. Streets in Bamenda, in Cameroon's English-speaking West, were reportedly deserted amid fears of violence, while crashes in the commercial hub of Deora left at least 4 people dead. Opposition supporters defying a ban on the protest accused Biya's ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement of attempting to steal victory. Biya, a native of southern Cameroon, rose rapidly through the political ranks with his re-election, Biya is now positioned to remain in power until 2032, extending a remarkable political career that has spanned more than 6 decades in government. Analysts say the results deepen the divisions within Cameroon, particularly in the English-speaking regions, where grievances over marginalization have fueled long-standing arrests. Cecilia Kaya-Mporokoso, Diamond News.
We take our first set of commercials. When we return, we have the business news coming up, but for now, I leave you with a weather update.
Good evening. You're watching the Diamond News Desk at 8. My name is Sapon Goma. Let's have a look at the stories that are making business headlines this evening. We have government defending transparency in debt restructuring process. And later on, ZPPA suspends 2 firms over fake tender documents. We have more with the Kwacha's performance on the international market, and we'll close it off with the commodity prices. Do stay tuned. Let's jump right into business this evening, where the Minister of Finance and National Planning, Dr. Stombeko Msokotwane, has dismissed claims that the government misled the public on Zambia's debt restructuring, saying the government has not lied after Ms. Mulenga Kapwepwe asserted that only 44% of eligible debt had been restructured. Speaking during a press briefing in Lusaka on Monday, Dr. Msokotwane says the restructuring process must be read in full context and urged Ms. Kapwepwe to take time to understand the multi-stage process before making any public statements. The minister has added that agreement in principle was reached in October 2023, which was then translated into a memorandum of understanding with participating official creditors. While the MOU covers 94% of eligible debt, meaning creditors agreed in principle and committed to the terms, the minister noted the bilateral stage is largely procedural.
In 2020, Zambia became the first African country to default on its sovereign debt during the COVID-19 era, a crisis that exposed years of unsustainable borrowing and fiscal pressure. At the time, debt repayments consumed nearly all government revenue, leaving little for public services such as health, education, and infrastructure. 5 years later, government says that the tide has turned. More than 94% of Zambia's eligible external debt has now been restructured. Minister of Finance and National Planning, Dr. Stombeko Msokotwane, has dismissed allegations by Ms. Mulenga Kapwepwe that government misled the public on the progress of debt restructuring. The minister has clarified that the figure represented only the portion of debt that had completed bilateral formalities, not the total share covered under the overarching agreement.
In her statement, as I said, Ms. Kapwepwe accused the government of lying, and she dismissed the government's assertion that debt restructuring so far has covered about 94% of the eligible external debt. Instead, she asserted that according to the report of the IMF and also one of our own professionals, only 44% the eligible debt have been covered in terms of restructuring. The truth is that 94% of the debt has been restructured.
Meanwhile, Secretary to the Treasury Felix Nkulukusa has also added that pending signings are still being finalized by a few countries, though the MOU itself already constitutes a binding commitment.
The 6% that the minister have asked, we haven't not yet reached. They haven't come on the board, and obviously they include Afro-Exim Bank. And of course, they did indicate their intention to go for arbitration. But I can assure you that even just when we are just coming from the annual meetings, and we had a meeting with Afro-Exim Bank, and there is another avenue that has come on the table where one of the third parties has come and have expressed interest to them that they can be able to subrogate this debt.
And in commemorating Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the Ministry's Permanent Secretary Patience Kauma has shared the following message.
So this October, the Ministry of Finance and National Planning stands in unity and heartfelt solidarity with all breast cancer survivors, as well as survivors of various cancers, those undergoing treatment, and the families and loved ones who continue to provide strength, comfort, and unwavering support to these warriors.
Rachel Mumba for Diamond News.
The Zambia Public Procurement Authority has announced that in the third quarter of 2025, it suspended Thinker Generation Limited and Wusongo Youth Enterprises Limited from participating in public procurement for 1 year, effective 8th August 2025. Speaking during a press briefing in Lusaka on Monday, ZPPA Director General Gloria Ngoma said the suspension followed investigations which revealed that both companies had submitted fake compliance documents during tender processes. Ms. Ngoma further revealed that Thinker Generation Limited was found to have used a Zambia Revenue Authority tax clearance certificate belonging to Wusongo Youth Enterprises Limited when bidding for a contract to construct a classroom block at New Kasaka Primary School in Mazabuga. In the third quarter of 2025 alone, a total of 23,710 tenders from 573 procuring entities were published on the e-government procurement system.
Mazabuka Community Council established that Thinker Generation Limited submitted a ZRA tax clearance certificate issued under the name of Wusongo Youth Enterprises Limited. Furthermore, it was discovered that the compliance certificates that ZRA, National Pensions Scheme Authority, and Workers' Compensation Fund Control Board submitted by Wusongo Youth Enterprises Limited in the tender for the construction of a police station in Mazabuka Central Constituency were all issued in different names, in the names of other companies. ZPPA established that Wusongo Youth Enterprises Limited and Thinker Generation Limited submitted compliance documents that were not genuine in their respective bids.
Let's shift our attention now and see how the kwacha was faring today. Money markets this evening will show you the kwacha's performance against the United States dollar. We did notice that the USD was buying in kwacha terms at 21 kwacha 99 ngwe, and it was selling at 22 kwacha 40 ngwe. A good start to the close of October. We continue to monitor these rates as we get into the month of November and ultimately how we close off the year as far as the kwacha's performance on the international market. Those are your money markets. Let's now have a look at our construction commodity prices. Construction commodity prices are brought to you by the Zambia National Building Society, and will show you different commodities as far as construction is concerned and how much you'll be able to purchase them on an average price. Our first item this evening, this is very handy for DIY man at home, and this is a hammer drill. It's a demolition speed case that comes with it. This costs you around 2,250 kwacha on average. Let's have a look at our second item this evening. Very, very handy when it comes to safety on the site, and this is a hard hat, and this will cost you around 577 kwacha. Do remember that these commodity prices are brought to you by the Zambia National Building Society. Special thanks to ZMBS for those construction commodity prices. Let's have a look now and see what our commodity prices, both food and non-food items, are looking like. Commodity prices this evening are brought to you by MISO, and will show the average price of your goods when you go out to shop at your local supermarket. Let's have a look first into our commodity prices. 1 kg with food items will cost you 1 kg of beef will cost you at an average price of 114 kwacha. A kg of sugar starts at 35 kwacha, while flour will cost you an average price of 80 kwacha. That's for a 2.5 kg bag. We have Nakonde rice starting at 140 kwacha for 5 kgs. 1 tray of eggs, nothing more than 115 kwacha, while 2.5 liters of cooking oil starts at 165 kwacha. For Mille Meal, you've got 4 options to pick from. 10 kg for both breakfast and roller Mille Meal. Starting price is 106 and starting price is 90 kwacha, respectively. While 25 kg bag of breakfast Mille Meal starts at 204 kwacha. A cheaper alternative would be roller Mille Meal that starts at 180 kwacha. Stay where you are. Let's have a look at our non-food items to see how much you'll be purchasing those when you do go out to shop. We'll start with our toilet paper, 10 rolls, 70 kwacha on average. Could find it cheaper in other places. 175 grams of toothpaste starts at 27 kwacha. 500 grams of washing powder has an average price of 42 kwacha, while 3.5 kg of washing powder is starting at 254 and all the way to 270 kwacha. And closing us off is bathing soap at 14 kwacha and goes all the way to 40 kwacha, depending on the brand that you're comfortable with. These altogether are your commodity prices. And that wraps up our business this evening. So glad you could join us and be a part of it. We do continue with the rest of the news desk at 8. My name is Tapu Ngoma. Have a pleasant evening.
You know, there was a time where all of this felt like a dream. Load shedding has turned our lives upside down. Every morning, battling with darkness, preparing the kids for school, it was chaos. Thanks to MISO, I can iron my clothes, blow dry my hair, and have breakfast without a hitch. With MISO, we glide through the day completely uninterrupted. School runs, errands, family time, everything just flows. So why not embrace the best solo solution for the best life? Choose MISO, where every moment counts and every day shines bright.
Join the MySol revolution and power your life with clean, sustainable energy. Call us today on 0961 844428 to find the perfect MySol solar kit for you, your business, and your family. MySol. Best solar, best life.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Let's proceed with the rest on the news desk. The Technical Committee on the Constitution Amendment Bill, the Technical Committee on the Draft Constitution has arrived in Western Province for stakeholder consultations. Now, the team has paid courtesy calls on the provincial administration in Mongu and the Barotso Royal establishment ahead of the engagement scheduled to start tomorrow.
A delegation from the Technical Committee on the Constitution Amendment Bill is in Western Province to gather views from citizens and key stakeholders on the proposed constitutional changes
that we are going to inquire into. And the committee has adopted an approach that we are not going to stop any person who submits on any other issue, because we're here to listen to the people and the 13 issues, but there might be, of course, burning issues that people would want to submit. I think that our duty is to listen to the people.
But what's important is to let the people speak. Let the people speak on burning issues that they feel in their heart for better governance of this country. All issues that will be submitted will actually be recorded in our report. Nothing will be left out.
Speaking during the courtesy call, the Provincial Permanent Secretary welcomed the team, noting that the exercise provides an important opportunity for people in the region to contribute to shaping Zambia's governance framework.
In brackets, this is the second round that we are doing of the constitutional review. I can see you are opening up the process. In the first phase one, when Francis came around with the minister, I think we were restricted to those 13 items. So, if I hear you correctly, we are now not restricted to the 13, you are saying any other. So we are broadening the scope.
Later, the team paid a courtesy call on the Barotse Royal Establishment.
Our advice is that in future, I know that you are an independent and appointed committee. You are not the people directing the appointments. But at least since you were appointed in August, so sufficient notice should have been given around through the media to inform people that from date 1 to date 3 we shall be in Western Province.
The committee is expected to begin its public engagements tomorrow, with meetings scheduled to include civic leaders, traditional authorities and members of the public. The visit marks a key step in ensuring that all provinces have a voice in the ongoing constitutional review process. Reporting for Diamond News in Mongo District of Western Province, Christine Musole.
More from the news desk. 3 people have died and 1 has gone blind in Siashtema Chiefdom, Kalomo District, after consuming a traditional brew mixed with chemicals. District Health Director Dr. Mishek Mukanzu confirmed the incident in an interview with Diamond News, saying 2 victims died at Kalonda Clinic, 1 at Kalomo General Hospital, while 4 others remain admitted, one of whom has lost his sight. A son of 1 victim said the brew was made using shoe polish, methylated spirit, sweetener, tire mending solution and fertilizer. Headman Siaj Tema also confirmed the deaths and called for a ban on home-brewed beer sales, urging authorities to restrict alcohol sales to licensed bars and taverns. The tragedy comes a year after similar incidents in Zimba and Kalomo, where people also died or went blind after drinking the same concoction.
One wonders how substances such as fertilizer, shoe polish, tire mending solution and methylated spirit could ever be considered ingredients for beer. 3 people have died in Kalomo district of Southern Province after consuming a dangerous mixture they brewed as a traditional beer, a fact confirmed by the district health director. One of the deceased sons had this to say in an interview.
Urea fertilizer, methylated spirit, shoe polishing, then with the fitted. So they had to mix it. It was in the bush, in the garden. So after mixing, so they had been doing such kind of a thing for some time back. So when they saw that it was not as strong, they were not drunk. That's how they changed the mixture. So maybe the issue of changing the mixture, that's where the problem came from. So as he arrived at home, the condition was not such good. So then they thought maybe that's the way he was a drunkard. So they thought that maybe it's just that's the way he is, because it has been a while we met him. In the morning, that's when they realized that the person was no more.
Meanwhile, Headman Siach Tema has called for government intervention in the matter, saying he has lost many people in similar incidents involving the consumption of such chemical mixtures as beer.
Jombulisi agitema njendiromba kuhurumende kuti purisi vapa malaisensi vatanopi vyochipape avavore vavone kuti senawa usi akibheka votu nazolinzi ikulesha mikuzi ya mushovoyo kuti kavapanga zikoko zitarika votu orome vano serika votu kambo vantavo vahwa vasiya mikwashi so eno musi achitema village ndava problemu yakuti vamuchara vahura inongonuti vagwashe.
And when contacted for a comment, Kalomo District Health Director Dr. Mishek Mukanzu confirmed the incident and revealed that one person has since gone blind.
Yeah, so to actually confirm, it's actually true. So what happened was that I think 2 days ago we received a report that people had ingested the locally mint brew. So as I'm speaking right now, I'm at the hospital just to make a follow-up on the patients and how they're doing. So I think what is being said was that one of the colleagues in the same village had made this concoction. So he gave I think there were about 7 people that drank it. We can actually confirm that 3 have since died because the 2 died before they actually came to the hospital. Then the other one died yesterday. Then we currently have 4 right now at the hospital who are slowly recovering very well, but one is complaining that he's seemingly losing sight.
A year ago, a similar incident was reported in Zimba and Kalomo districts, where several people died after mixing dangerous chemicals to make beer. Authorities indeed have a lot to do to ensure this deadly practice is completely curbed. Helga Chibwe, Diamond News in Southern Province.
We take another break, and thereafter we have more news items coming up. Welcome back. Let's continue with the rest of the news desk. Minister of Labour and Social Security Brenda Tambatamba has announced that the government has developed a draft statutory instrument aimed at addressing the proliferation of trade unions in Zambia. Speaking during the tripartite consultative Labour Council meeting held in Lusaka, Mr. Matamba says the issue has been a long-standing concern, repeatedly discussed among government employees and the labour movement, describing it as a major challenge within Zambia's labour market. She explained that the draft instrument follows extensive consultations at various levels and seeks to uphold the integrity of the labour movement while safeguarding the fundamental right of workers to form and join trade unions of their choice. Meanwhile, Ms. Tambatamba has revealed that government is also proposing to designate a category of employees as essential workers, which will include air traffic controllers, aviation security personnel, and employees of the Electoral Commission of Zambia.
Rights and national interests are protected because the worker is the nation. The nation is the worker. Ladies and gentlemen, the proliferation of trade unions has been a long-standing issue discussed on several occasions by this council. Government, employers, and the labor movement all recognize this as a challenge within Zambia's labor market. It has therefore become necessary to attend or to address this matter in a way that upholds the integrity of the labor movement while safeguarding the fundamental rights of workers to form and belong to trade unions of their choice. In response to this pressing issue and following extensive consultations at various levels, I am pleased to announce that a draft statutory instrument on the proliferation of trade unions has been developed. This draft is being presented today for your consideration and discussion. I once again appeal for calm and objectivity as we deliberate on this.
Moving on, Presidential Advisor for Finance and Investment, Jito Kayumba, has handed over 2 neonatal ventilators to the Women and Newborn Hospital on behalf of President Hakainde Hichilema to boost neonatal care. Mr. Kayumba says the donation followed the President's swift response after learning about the hospital's equipment shortage. Receiving the ventilators, Senior Medical Superintendent Dr. Mukatimui Munalula expressed gratitude, saying the machines will help save more newborn lives and ease difficult decisions doctors previously faced when only one ventilator was available.
The survival of a newborn could be a neonatal ventilator. This is the first time I heard that terminology, being someone who doesn't come from the medical background. But what stood out is the fact that it is necessary to intervene in a critical situation. And I can only imagine what it's like to be a parent faced, or even yourselves as staff, faced in a situation to decide who gets access to a single ventilator. So when we did commit that we'll find one, knowing that these things are not very cheap, they're quite the opposite, that we'll make a plan, that where we have limitations from a state budget perspective, that we'll find alternative means, leveraging on our networks in the corporate world. And I want to share with you that I shared this story with the President, and of course he saw it on the news, and many of the well-wishers who have been participants in enabling us to be able to acquire what we required saw the story.
The state-of-the-art ventilators that you are donating today actually are going to make things so much easier for us. Dr. Chomba and Dr. Mudundu and Sister sometimes shrink from playing God because they are put in that position in a lot of times where they have to decide which baby will be put on a vent and which one should not be put on the vent because there are so few. So we are pleased that we have these 2 pieces of equipment that are being donated today to ease the burden that they have, to improve the outcomes that we have for the babies.
That last news item brings us to the end of the news desk at 8 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us. To stay updated, be sure to follow us from our social media platforms as well as our website. My name is Justin Mulenga. Good night.